Good evening. We'll call to order the May meeting of the Norwalk Parking Authority. Vice Chairman Seebeck is presiding this evening. I'd like to call the roll if we can.
Sure. Vice Chairman Seebeck,
Present.
Commissioner Ailey, Commissioner Fulham,
Here.
and Commissioner Larsh.
Here.
Yeah. And Chairman Eric Rains is not going to be joining us tonight.
Outstanding. Well, to kick off, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Larsh. Jessica Larsh is our newest member, and she was sworn in at City Hall last Wednesday and joins the board with a strong commitment to public service and a passion for enhancing the city of Norwalk. Her experience and fresh perspective will be valuable as the authority continues to advance the mission of providing accessible, efficient, and user-friendly parking solutions for the city of Norwalk. So welcome aboard, Commissioner Larsh.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got ahead of the skis.
That's okay. I'd like to have all the commissioners had the opportunity to review the minutes as submitted from prior month for Mr. Lutz.
Yes.
Are there any additions, omissions, corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as posted.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as posted.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey.
Are there any opposed? And I will accept the minutes as submitted. Moving to the next as is norm, we will open up the floor to any members of the public who are in waiting. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes, and we will reiterate that we'll be listening and take your feedback under consideration. However, we will not necessarily address anything in this forum. However, we will take that back for further review. Are there any in waiting?
There are not.
Vice Chair, I need to. I have a email that I'd like to read into record from Larry and Carol Pellegrini. They're the owners of Pellegrini Jewelers in Sono. I received this email on the 19th of May. They say, "Good morning. As you're aware, we have just received a notice that the Haviland deck will be closed for upcoming renovations. I understand and accept that this needs to be done. I would like to bring your attention for consideration the strong effect this will have for limited parking on Washington Street and possibly the surrounding areas in Sono. With that said, I would like to recommend the temporary change with the 3-hour parking time limit on our street. Can you consider changing back to the shorter parking time frame for quicker turnover of cars on the streets during this time, possibly from 1 to 2 hours? I look forward to hearing back with your opinion. Thank you for your continued support. Sincerely, Carol Pellegrini." Just on a side note, I did reach out to her to clarify that we are not closing the Haviland deck during the project. There will be spaces that are closed during the project, but not a full closure. But I'll discuss that in our report out.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ms. Lutz. Appreciate it. Moving along on the agenda, we'll get into the engineering and project report.
Okay. So just a quick update to inform the board that we have an executed contract with GL Capazzo, and they are looking to mobilize on the week of June 23rd. Continuous community outreach has been happening. As you could tell from Ms. Pellegrini's email, it will also be reinforced at our upcoming public meeting on June 5th. We want to inform and prepare the public as best we can. The facility will remain open throughout the project with targeted space closures to address the repairs. Park Norwalk and the contractor will coordinate space closures similar to the Yankee Doodle project. We are allowing permit holders to park at the Maritime Garage during this project as an alternative area for them at no additional charge. And that has previously happened for projects that happen at the Haviland deck. So we're going to do our best to manage the project and the spaces as we can.
That sounds
That's it for
good.
the update.
I appreciate it. It's actually really good to hear. You may recall, I think it was about a year ago now that we authorized this to move forward. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's
Pretty close.
yeah, that sounds fair.
Great. All
Yeah,
right.
excited to get this thing going. I think it's the upgrade is gonna it'll be hard until they get done, but all the painting, the rebranding, the hallway, the stairwell, it's just gonna make the experience there just so much nicer and a better flow for the customers.
Excellent. All right.
So Vice Chair, it's Jim, just to reiterate,
Oh.
yes, you did do it some time ago. So you were the first step in the process. It did have to go to city procurement for this. That does require us to take on a couple additional steps and get us to the the bidding of the project, the awarding, the contract negotiation, the writing of the contract. It just does bring into light, I think we work diligently on it, but there is some things that just that takes place. But I think at the end of the day, if you'll recall, this will be the improvements to the passageway, to the shop, the new staircase that give you direct access to that passageway. We are also implementing, we've noticed as we build more bike racks, bike lanes throughout the city, people are tying their bikes to the fence back there. So there are a couple of benches back there that are near dumpsters and maybe not in the ultimate place that you would probably want to just sit and rest, right? So we think those are going to be better served to be replaced with bike racks. So we'll have so it'll be really complete parking, mobile back there. But the developer, the contractor that we have doing this, we have experience with. He does quality work for us. We're fully committed to making this happen. Brian's been really great working this through. So I think we're really excited to finally be able to break ground on this. I think when we did the walkthrough with him, it was very, very, I was freezing, right? So it took a while to get here, but I think, with weather as it is right now and the work that he's done, I think we should see something come in relatively short order.
That's great. No, I mean, look, we have to acknowledge that a lot of this garage work is seasonal work. And I think it's great timing, to be honest with you, considering all of the work that was in the engineering report. So I'm glad to see it.
Yeah. So, and this one's really great because it is handling the engineering components to it, but also the aesthetic components, right? The shaded green fence will be painted black, right? We're going to get rid of Haviland parking, all right, and then just actually have it public parking to really reinforce where you're supposed to be. It's branded. There's every component in here. I think this is one of those projects where there's something for everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you. All right. I believe the next is our financial and operating report. Oh, there it is.
Yes.
So, Chirac?
So really quick, before I let Laz take over, I
Yep.
do want to update the board that Jim and I are working closely with Laz to update the financial and operation report package, which was presented during the RFP process. We are nearing a final product, so we'd like to share that with the board prior to its implementation, just to get a little update on what we're doing, what Laz is reporting out every month.
Great.
Rocky, there you go.
Everyone can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. And Commissioner Large, welcome for joining the team. I'm very excited to report that the month of April we did strong revenue wise, and it was a very strong month. For the month of April, we made about $108,000 in net income on a budget loss of $5,700, and on year to date, we made about $635,000 in net income on a budget of $181,540. So we're strong for the month and also on a year to date. This is due to
Rocky, sorry to interrupt you. Can you just kind of scroll through it's still
Oh,
showing the,
all right.
there you go.
Correct.
You got it. Perfect.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Brian. And this is due to the combination of increased revenue and reduced expenses, and some of the expenses are deferred while some are pure saving for the operation. Going back on the month performance, we've seen an increased activity at all various buckets of the revenue. The major strong activity for the month came from transient activity, and this is due to mainly from Maritime Garage. During a Passover week, we've seen a strong transient activity, and also at the South Norwalk Train Station Garage, East Norwalk Railroad Lots, and Yankee Doodle Garage are the main performance in transient activity, and South Norwalk, being the second next to Maritime Garage, has seen a strong transient demand both at the Overflow Lot and at the Maritime Garage. On the saving side, on expense, the main saving came from repair and maintenance for the month. And I'll go into the variance report for the month. Parking violation revenue was over budget for the month, and this is due to violation revenue coming from mainly the construction area in the West Avenue section of the city. And then the expense side of it, snow removal is under budget due to no snow for the month. Building repair maintenance was under budget, and this is due to the overhead repair that has not been completed yet. We've budgeted for it, and some light bulb replacement that were budgeted that we never incurred, and landscaping and some electrical works that did not happen for the month. These are saving except the overhead gate, which is considered as deferred expense. And Brian will brief us on the repair of the overhead gate on the next section. And this is the financial full package, or the financial statement for the month. And the ones highlighted in a different color are the ones that qualify for the variance report. For the month, we're updating the 15 minutes free parking usage for the month. We've seen a 10% increase for the month. Comparing it to prior month, we're seeing an increase in usage, and we also further broke it down into a sub area of the city, and we can see from all section of the Sonar Wall and West Avenue area all the increases on 15 minutes usage.
Sir, I'm sorry, just really quickly before we get too far field.
Sure.
And sorry, I'll recognize you, Peter, in just a moment. I noticed that we have it's not a variance report level savings, but in security services. And I'm just sort of curious what the main driver is on a year-to-date basis. Because my recollection is that's like a contract for electronic security services. Is that correct?
The security service is correct, Vice Chair. It includes the camera system throughout the operation, the fire alarm system, all the other the security services that we provide that we have a contract with. So that it's within budget for the month, Vice Chair. And then on a year to date, we're seeing some savings, some cameras that were due to be replaced after consulting with the local IT guy that we use. Those cameras are instead of changing them totally, they made a modification, and we had a saving in the security service for year to date.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Fulham.
Thanks. So Rock, couple of questions, kind of a two-part question. The free 15 minutes is really being used, obviously. That's great. What do you hear, like the word on the street from the merchants? how are they reacting to this?
I'm sure Kara, the marketing person from LAS, is gonna go in depth on that discussion, Commissioner. But we are seeing most of the merchants were not aware of the 15 minutes free parking, but that's even with all door-to-door knocking that we did, me, Brian, and the local staff. Some business owners are not still understanding it, but we are educating them, letting them know at this point, customers need to go to the pay stations to utilize this 15 minutes free parking. Some are under the assumption that 15 minutes is just granted for all parkers. So we're educating them just to make sure that they go into the pay station and utilize, put in their plate.
Enter their plate.
And
Yeah.
let me also add that the continued increase in usage should be a really good indicator that the businesses are getting that message out to the user.
Yeah, I just find it, I think I agree that the local person that comes in, once a week, a couple times a week, once a month, whatever it happens to be, once they're educated to it, they continue to use it. It's just kind of the person that's not familiar with the area and is maybe not familiar with it. But the other part of my question was that in the West Avenue area, got a lot of tickets, I guess, for violations. And did that have anything to do with them not understanding how to get their free 15 minutes? Was that part of it, or is that, I'm just speculating that?
If I can jump in for this one, Rocky, I think so. We have a tremendous amount of contractors that are working in the area, since we have 2 very large developments that are currently under construction. This is something typically we see when we have with contractors. We require the contractors to provide a plan for parking for their workers, but often you're going to get workers that want to be close and they risk getting parking tickets for their convenience, right? It is something we actually argue about it because we want the spaces there to support the businesses, not to support the contractors. But this has been a constant for me, whether it was in New Haven, whether it was in Stamford before here. Anytime that you have a large amount of contractors in the area, they're coming in for a day, they just want to be there. We always see tickets surge in those areas, and I think based on really what we're seeing here, it pertains very much to the contractors in the area.
Okay, I just wanted to see, because education or usage of the free 15 minutes is obviously it's this whole separate issue, obviously.
Yeah, I'll just echo Jim's point. Peter, this may have been prior to your joining the board, but we were seeing reports from LAS of basically chasing around like Quincy Street and all of those areas with double parking until, as this construction phasing plan hit. And I think since they're complete with their site work and pushing the contractors out of the building, you're seeing them densify along West Avenue. So I see it a few times a day coming and going. So it's small wonder.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jim. With this, with the rest of the package are backups for what has been reported. So if you have any question, I'd be more than happy to answer. And for any I'll pass to Louis from LAS for any operational update for the month.
Sure, appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Yeah, just a couple little things to mention. We did sponsor Derby Day as we did last year. It was a great event, again, as it was last year. Last week, we attended the Sono event, outstanding event. Just wanted to update everyone. We've been working with Food Cheer. We've been a partner with them for about 20 years, just knocking on 20 years now. And it was great to see them, and thought it was a real good event, even for us to kind of connect and network with the business owners a little bit. Just wanted to share that. We really enjoyed it.
Was this the Taste of Sono, Louis?
Yes, Taste of Sono last week, correct. Great event. We really enjoyed being there. So just wanted to touch on that. And Kara can do a quick little update. She's going to be working on a full presentation for everyone on next month's call, but she can give you a quick little update on what she's been up to. Go ahead, Kara.
Sure. So I know last month we had said that we were going to have a full presentation to provide to everyone for this call. Because of the timing around us adding the public forum for next week, I wanted to hold off in finalizing it so that we can make sure that we have as much information to provide you guys with what we really feel are the strongest recommendations to implement first. So over the past month, we've been continuing that outreach as we've all been talking about. Some of the feedback that we received on the 15 minutes is really what Rocky mentioned earlier, kind of just not knowing about it and happy that we were coming in and explaining how it worked. One big piece of feedback that we've been receiving is the a little bit of a language barrier. So we've been hearing that, you know, is there opportunity to change some of our materials or our signage to Spanish? So we actually got a lot of questions today while we were handing out the flyer for the forum that is going to be happening next Thursday. And actually, we're very pleased that the team member we had actually handing those flyers out is going to be there and be able to kind of translate for some of the business owners. As Louis mentioned, we went to the Sono event, and I actually had a chance to speak with a few of the businesses, and we're really excited. They were really excited about coming to this event. So our plan is going to be to put together, several topics that we want to get some feedback on, and then really allow for a general forum for people to provide their feedback. I think that's going to allow us just to clarify a little bit what we've been getting on a one-to-one basis of outreach of what our opportunities are from not only rate structure, but having the team explain to these business owners the opportunity for us to shift the people that are employees from metered spaces to help assist bringing more customers into the area to use those metered spaces. So we've been talking on a one-to-one basis, but I expect after the forum next week that we'll be able to provide you with a full presentation that I'd like to send to Brian and Jim first, and then we would send it along to all of you before our next board meeting, so that there's time for you guys to review and then have any questions prepared for next month. Sorry, that was quite long-winded. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer it.
Thank you, Kara.
Thank you.
If I could just kind of ask a question, and so you're getting information from the public on the free 15 minutes and so forth. It's like I had mentioned before, and I'm not exactly sure how to phrase this question, is that the people that come to this area, I'm kind of stating what I said before, get educated to it, but it's the out-of-towners that don't. And unfortunately, excuse me, it still leaves a bad taste in your mouth if you get a ticket and you don't understand that stuff. So it's, I talked to Brian about this before. We looked at a pay station, and Brian, you remember that conversation?
Yeah, we have, just so you know, Commissioner, we have a item later in the meeting that's of a discussion point of the 15-minute free options, and also giving you updates on what we've been doing, what I've been doing to help address some of the concerns that have been expressed.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. New business.
All right.
Item 1 is discussion and vote.
Yeah, so the next agenda item addresses recent developments on West Avenue that we kind of talked about a little bit ago. The new buildings between Butler and Orchard Streets have added to our on-street parking inventory. The traffic authority unanimously approved the plan on the right of your screen, which includes metered parking on West Avenue, Orchard, and Butler Streets, and time restrictions on Quincy Street. These spaces now fall under the authority's management. To effectively manage this new inventory, we need to purchase at least 6 multi-space meters from Flowbird. I recommend the board approve an order of 8 meters with 2 serving as backups and spares for potential future zones. Before I go to the next slide, the next slide has the proposal and the requests I'm asking, but just wanted you to get a chance to look at the map, just seeing what's going on, and answer any questions before I ask the board to vote for the purchase, the acquisition.
Brian, this is specifically for the east side of West Avenue. Is that, or I'm sorry, yeah, the east side of West Avenue. That's
Yeah,
with
so
the 2 potentially being for the west side development.
yes, correct. So the reason I'm including that is Flowbird has an 8-week lead time on ordering these meters. So instead of waiting for the additional spaces on those 2 streets, might as well ask to order the 8 to get it done, because eventually those on West Avenue, and remind me what that street name is, Rocky?
Butler.
That goes, is not, but the one that crossed from Orchard. Is it Stewart or something? I'm so bad at street names. Merwin.
Yep.
The one up here. There's going to be meters there.
That's Maple.
Oh, Maple.
Maple. Sorry. Thank you. Excuse me. To install a meter, because there's one on Maple as well.
Thanks, Brian. Mr. Ailey?
How many new spaces are we going to be metering with these? You said 6 pay stations?
8 total, 2 for spares, but 6 in
Right.
the locations that I've marked on the map.
Okay.
It's 5. It's about 20 spaces around the perimeter of the east building. I think that's the Spinnaker 460 West Ave, and a potential another 10 on the other side.
So around 30 new spaces altogether?
I can send the commission exact number once I can see the spaces drawn out. They're not marked yet.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure we have good coverage.
Yep. And we will also be including the in-app spaces on the mobile side as well. So you can pay from the meter, but also from Park Mobile.
Speaking of which, Brian, like is we're gonna get that lot back next to on the west side of West Avenue. Is there a thought to just make that all a single zone, or are you subdividing the street versus a small surface lot?
So you're speaking of the YMCA lot?
Yeah,
That's
the one at the
currently-
base of the NRVT there.
Right. So that's currently on a 4-hour time regulation. It's interesting you bring that up, because most of the contractors that are in the area are permit holders there. So once all these developments are done, that lot is going to be open for maybe an opportunity to do something different there. I've been throwing around some ideas and searching for opportunities for EV chargers, maybe like a level 3 bank there, but I haven't got farther except sending emails and just trying to get any interest there. But I think we need to think kind of creatively here on how we do this.
That's great to hear. Okay. Mr. Ridley, again.
Yep. Won't we want to meter that lot though?
We could, absolutely, we could.
I mean, I just, for comparison, I see people parking at the Walgreens on West Avenue and walking across to park at the mall, so they don't have to pay mall parking. I think if that lot is unmetered, and we're metering the streets, I mean, we're going to have people parking in there for free, filling it up, and I don't know.
That's a good point. That
What
is
is
a very
it?
good point.
Anybody else have a thought on that?
I believe that
Well-
once these developments get further along and we start seeing it, we should have an alternate to present to you to see how the regulations are.
Okay, good.
We had put that into place, Judd, just so that we could ensure that a certain number of spaces were available to the art space across the street. And
Yep.
then had expanded permit parking for the construction just to ease some of the issues on some of the side streets where there's still residential parking, on residential on-street parking. So I think that your note is well taken. I think we should, continue to work with Brian on how to think about that in the future.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I guess.
I'll present some recommendations. I'll present some recommendations, maybe not next month, but by July. I think it'll be good.
Well, and also after the street meters are in place, we could just see how it performs. So,
Correct.
yep. Okay. Thank you.
With
And,
that, I think I'll take a motion.
So before,
Or-
here is the proposal from Flowbird. It's for 8 meters totaling 44,200.
There you
I'm requesting the board's approval to allocate that 44,000 from the capital expenditure account for revenue control equipment to purchase these meters. This is the same account that was used to for the Park Connect system. So we had some savings in there that we can use for this.
So that's 5,500 a meter roughly.
Yeah.
I can't really read it on there. It's too small.
Sorry, you know what? I'll email you. I'll email you guys this so you see it, and I can add it to the package
I
as well.
see. Yeah, unit price 49.
Yeah, it's 4,900 plus the there's some add-ons that we do. We do those top hats, the lights, the little blue light that notifies
Yep.
people where to park,
Yep.
and also the EMV contactless reader.
Okay.
See if I can
Are,
post that.
are we looking for a motion on this, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the proposal from Flowbird for 8 new pay stations. I'm sorry, Brian, the total there,
44,000,
Oh, there it is.
44,200.
44,200.
Okay, there's a motion.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we have passed unanimously.
All right, I'll get that order in quickly so we can get these things here in short
Thank you.
order.
Right. Item 2 on new business.
So happy to inform everyone, we kind of already talked about it recently, earlier in the presentation. We will be holding a public meeting in Sono next week. It'll be held at Cheese and Bread located at 68 Washington at 5 p.m. Laz Parking is sending out invites alongside AGW partners to make this a successful event. We want to hear from the businesses so we can tailor parking solutions to their needs, but also inform them of best practices so we can, help as best we can. I don't know if Kara or Laz wants to add anything to this, that she kind of already alluded to it earlier. So, I think we're in a good spot. And I think this is a really good, it's a really good start. And the idea would be to take this public meeting and do it in the different neighborhoods throughout the year and just give opportunities for the businesses to, get in front, for the parking authority to get in front of the businesses more consistently, and also give them a forum on what their challenges are, so we can go about, helping as best we can with other parking solutions that are tailored to their specific needs.
No
Any
other
questions?
comments
Okay.
on my end, Brian.
Thanks, Kara. Any questions or comments? Okay. I'll move on to the next discussion and vote. for the next upcoming fiscal year, we continue to enhance the customer experience through critical infrastructure improvements. Due to some unforeseen challenges, we were unable to complete the replacement of the overhead gates at the train station and Maritime Garage. To address this, I respectfully request the commission approve to accrue $215,000 from the current fiscal year's budget to fund this project in fiscal year 25-26. Proposal estimate the cost at approximately $200,000 with an additional $15,000 for potential contingencies. To ensure fiscal responsibility, we propose accruing $215,000 from the April's fund balance, which is currently at $635,865, with May and June still remaining. We seek the commission's vote to authorize this accrual to enable the successful completion of these essential upgrades.
Excellent. So I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I just want to make sure I understand this. You're asking us to move funds from fiscal year 25 to 26. Is that correct?
The expense that we saved by not handling this project that was budgeted for this fiscal year, that
Right.
unfortunately didn't happen, to shift that savings to the accrual for next year.
So we're just moving the funds that were approved for the project to next
To be able to
fiscal
use.
year. Okay,
Correct.
so it's no additional funds or anything like that. I see.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. With that in mind, I'll make a motion to move the approved funds for the overhead gates at the Sono Garage from fiscal year 2025 to fiscal year 2026. Anything else I need to add in there, Matt?
Maybe the amount of $215,000, just to state.
Yeah, in the amount of $215,000.
All right. So motion.
And I will second that.
Motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion regarding the overhead gate project and its accrual? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right. And hearing none opposed, it's passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to old business.
So this is another quick, well, I'm not sure if it's a quick update, but an update on to notify the board of a recent update on the parking authority's ordinance as adopted by the Common Council. Our updated ordinance that is in your packet reflects some minor amendments, such as updating the non-voting member from director of DPW to director of TMP, reflecting the city's current organizational structure. And there's some minor clarifications emphasizing ongoing compliance with any future amendments to the Freedom of Information Act. The main amendment that really concerns us is the addition of a new subsection that grants the authority explicit authority to enforce city parking regulations and receive revenue from parking violations under Connecticut General Statute Section 51 to 56A as amended. This strengthens the Norwalk Parking Authority's role in managing parking compliance and allows the authority to effectively manage a residential parking program. Previously, the parking authority could only enforce regulated areas. This opens the authority to be able to enforce citywide to help the police that get calls over parking concerns that we could easily handle. But importantly, to get a residential parking program up and running, we need to be able to enforce it, and this allows us to do that.
Excellent. A new time for the team here. So
And I
that's
think
great.
I think specifically what the authority needs, what the board needs to I don't think it's really a vote, and Jim, maybe you can help me out here, but to give pretty much standing orders to me to get a residential parking program operational now. Now that we have the amendment to the ordinance, we can enforce. Now it's time for us to look how operationally we can make this happen.
Yeah, so I think this has been a work in progress to get us here. We had to change state legislation and city legislation. This really positions, the parking authority to be a value add for the community, right? We get constant calls from residents that says, hey, this is a violation that's occurring in my neighborhood, and could you send someone out, right? And currently, prior to this, the police could only do the non-metered citations, right? And it would create a level of frustration for people who said, like, we couldn't do it. So now we actually could solve their issues, but we also were never even able to look at how a residential parking program might look like, right? So I think the direction that we're looking for this with Brian, is the ordinance has been adopted, right? So we don't need you to adopt an ordinance. It just expanded the responsibilities of this from the metered section to citywide ability to do citywide enforcement. So we could also go write a parking ticket for someone who's parked on the sidewalk now, right? Which is, we a constant issue. But we would like, if what we're looking for you now is to direct Brian, and this is just, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page, right? And that the next thing that we want to do is look at residential parking. So Brian will present, so if in fact you want us to look at residential parking, Brian will present some options on how residential parking programs are successful in other communities, how it might work here in Norwalk. We'll present it to you, and you would then vote on that, right? On enacting that. And then once that, we'd also need to go back to our board, add some, so I think one of the things that we wanted to do is, so that we're simultaneously doing this, well, Brian will look at the ordinances, but also look at what additional citations may be necessary in order to do this, so that we go back to the Common Council, add those into ordinance, which gives them the ability to do that enforcement. But then the parking authority is one solely responsible for really adopting the program of a residential parking program, right?
Sure.
And then we would have a public meeting late, with that process and just move it forward there.
Mr. Ailey? You're on mute, sir.
Jim, you ran residential parking in New Haven and Stamford.
Yes.
So you're familiar, like we've got to jump on this already, just with that. And Brian, have you had experience with this?
I have been not in my parking career, but just permitting, yes. And I've also been reviewing Stamford's very closely to try to use their best practices to organize our program to be better than what is existing. And then at the conference, at the IPMI conference and the NEPC conference, I want to really kind of hone in on some of the vendors to see what they're recommending, to just get information, just added information, so I can present some programs for recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to make every effort to attend with Brian as well. I think this is one of the things that we just want to divide and conquer, and really, the thing that the great thing about the conference, right? You all know from going on there is the sessions are great. But the relationships and the conversations that you have with people afterwards, and you can talk one-on-one about really what are the challenges, and then so we've had some conversations with Julie Dixon, who's been a support to the authority before in a consulting role, and I think we would rely on her, as well to come up with some of those things, and we'll come up with the ideas and recommendations, in a cost-effective manner, right? This is obviously would be a cost to do this, but I think what we really are going to provide is a benefit to some. But there is criteria that one must fit in order to qualify for residential parking, right? There has to be a demonstrated need, and we'll come up with what that demonstrated needs options are.
I've heard various residents request that the NPA implement a residential permit program over the years and complaints. So I think it's a step in the right direction.
I do too. It took us getting state legislation changed was hard enough as it was, but then after that is changed, then we had to get the city legislation changed. So many processes to take place, but we're
Good
there.
work. Good work.
I think it's
Thank you.
definitely a worthwhile pursuit, and I look forward to seeing what you can gather and bring back to us. Are you looking for us to take specific action to
I don't
give
think
you
you
that
need-
direction, or
I
is
don't
this
think you need-
enough?
Yeah, I think this
us?
is enough, right? As long as
It's
you're in
just-
agreement
yeah.
that this is the direction, then, what I would, suggest is from this point forward, under old business that we maintain, the NPA ordinance as an item, and Brian can give, updates of where, the progress that's made on a monthly basis to get us there.
Absolutely. And let's do that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Then the 15-minute free option. Something I talked about with Commissioner Fulham earlier. This is more for a discussion, but before you start, I really want to give a few updates on what Laz and Jim and I have been working on. The board previously instructed us to find multiple avenues to get this 15-minute free option out there. Since then, we have ran social ads, as well as we also found a mobile solution that would work in conjunction with the on-street meter functionality. Happy to inform the board that we have found that solution, and to give that no fee 15-minute free transaction to mobile users. Similar to Park Mobile, this app will allow users to select the 15-minute free option in their smartphones, as well as give notifications to the user when that transaction is about to expire, and give them options to extend their stay. We also are working with the Snyder Group to get the 15 minutes free social campaign blitz in action. Some examples are are pictured on the right of the presentation. The Park Norwalk on-street sign that will replace the Park Mobile green signs, which allows mobile users that free 15-minute option, as well as the ads that we've been working on with Rachel and Emily at the Snyder Group. We will get these initiatives live in the upcoming months. Exciting. I know, one of the Commissioner Fulham brought up a conversation about, or a conversation him and I had at the meter, and his concern is like, what's identifying people to that there's a free 15-minute. There's nothing, there's no signs, there's none of that. The only thing that we do have that we worked on was decluttering the street with all the signs to really streamline the message, right? Metered parking. So when it says metered parking, it's going to tell people to go to a meter to handle their business. So now, with it not just being on the meter, on the actual physical street meter, they'll also have the option to scan this QR code to get that 15-minute option there as well. So the signs, in our opinion, to direct people to metered parking should suffice, but the board can discuss those options to see what other options that you'd like me to look at. But so far, this is what we've done, and I think it's just showing the engagement and the increase in usage has helped. And I think the consistency of the social media campaign will help to have fun little ads going throughout the week. Instead of one a month, it could be multiple, just to get the word across in our market. But please open for discussion, please.
I just had a quick question. Is the problem, so I know this is an education piece, but is the problem that people that are only parking for 15 minutes are in a rush and don't want to use the meter?
That's how, yes, in a certain sense, yes, because previously we had in the neighborhoods, we had marked spaces that were 15-minute only. So we couldn't manage that. So now that every on-street space is capable of this 15-meter, we can manage it properly, instead of like seeing predatory. The parking authority gets labeled predatory because at those 15-minute spots, someone has to actually watch if you're there for 15 minutes, and the authority doesn't want to have that. So this allows us to manage those spaces effectively with a small process. And the process is not very tedious. You go to the meter, and soon to be in the mobile app, you hit the 15 minutes, you put your plate in, you hit OK. It verifies that your plate is there for 15 minutes. So the enforcement officers go around with their equipment, and it won't flag it because it'll inform them that yes, they have a 15-minute in and out, so they can just go by and manage it properly.
Okay. There's no other solution. They have to use the meter or the app, correct?
To manage it properly, yes, correct.
Okay.
The goal is
And-
to actually stop kind of abuse of the 15-minute space as well. On the other side, there's the predatory side, and then there's the abuse thereof, which, we want to make sure that we prevent and have sufficient amount of turnover.
Yeah, and it does. The app and the meters do limit the usage to 1 a day on the street. So you can't go on Wall Street and do it twice. So it prevents that kind of abuse as well.
Okay.
So just for, like, we used to put a sign up, right? So the sign was there, and it was just one sign. So, maybe it was a coffee shop, right? But at night, those spaces weren't available to restaurants. So we constantly heard from from other businesses who wanted it at a different time, right? So it was very difficult in managing it. And then and then we would constantly get calls saying a car has been parked in that spot for 20 minutes. A car's been parked for 25 minutes. So then we would time it, and then someone would come and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're so mean. You timed those poor people do it." So we were in this no-win situation. Like, there was nothing that we could do that was satisfying this. And so we worked with the vendor. This code is unique to Norwalk. So we created the code with the vendor, and the numbers have been increasing time and time again, right? We really want to get to where, like, there's a meter, you should go to the meter. And then, so that is, that's the parking thing. It's like, it's not a condemning portion. It's really about, the way that we need to do business. And then if you're there for a quick one, it is very quick. I stop and get coffee, and throw my plate in and get coffee, and then come back out real quick. It's pretty easy to do. And then the app that we're working on will be just as well. And then additionally, to make it easier, is you'll be able to scan that QR code and actually pay on your phone, right? So you'll be able to use Apple Pay, Google Pay to pay for those as well. So I think we're leading some of the other municipalities in what they offer for on-street parkings. Or I think the other great thing about this is there's been changes to this, right? So we have no way believe that we got it right the first time, and we're constantly changing and evolving and listening to what people say and trying to build a better mousetrap, right?
Okay, thank you for that additional information. I think we had talked about it in the past. I just that 15-minute free parking. I know why people park in those spots. If it is just going to be 15 minutes, it's because they're in a rush and they want to just go and not give anybody their information. So I was trying to understand if we've exhausted all possibilities, and this was the best one. I'm new here, so
no. Look, we should always challenge, right?
Yep.
We
Mr.
worked
Ayler.
with just a couple of quick things, but I think we're really going to see the ability to do the app, providing you a much even a quicker option. You're going to be able to do that before you even get out of your car.
okay, great.
Mr. Ailey.
I think Peter's first.
Oh, okay. Mr.
He's been
Fall.
waiting longer.
Thanks, Judd. Say,
Yeah.
it's basically, I think Jim really hit the nail on the head. People sitting in their cars, and if they don't even get out of their cars, they can get the app on their phone. They hit free 15 minutes. But the big change to the game, I think, is that when that 15 minutes is about to expire, that it comes up on your phone, just like it does if you do Park Mobile, and says, "Listen, would you like to add more time?" Now, obviously, that's going to cost you. So whether you're at a restaurant or doing business somewhere or whatever it happens to be, that you can extend that free 15 minutes without having to do something different and just hit, I want to hit for an hour or 2 hours, and that's going to charge your Apple CarPlay, or the not the CarPlay, but the Apple Pay. So it's just seamless. It's technology, and the technology is there. So it really is. It's just, I think, just the way to go. I think that's going to grow. But thanks for Brian for putting all this effort into this. It was really, I think it'll be great. That's what I have to say. Thanks.
Happy to do so. I think it's just all around a good solution for the visitors and residents of the city.
So my question is, the 15-minute app, is that a separate standalone app, or does it integrate into Park Mobile, or is it another?
It's not an integration. It's separate from Park Mobile. You'll be able to directly, you don't even need the app. You scan that QR code, and then it goes directly to the rates that you can select and do the Apple payment. So it's very quick. But users could also use Park Mobile in conjunction with it. So Park Mobile will still be part of this. Just this is the primary Park Mobile. Just to remind the board and inform our newest commissioner that Park Mobile, they have a 35 cents convenience fee for all transactions, and they were not willing to they were not willing to do that for the zero free 15-minute rate. If we use Park Mobile, it actually costs the customer 35 cents, which it's not free. This app, this QR code will allow customers to use that free 15 minutes with no convenience fee.
And then roll into a paid parking session from that?
Correct. And that's where sorry, go ahead.
And then be charged the convenience fee or conveyance fee, whatever.
Yeah, the convenience fee would happen after, if they extended their stay, or they could go to the meter and use the multimeter if they choose to do that.
And from the QR code, free 15 minutes to a paid session, once you're in the paid session, it automatically takes you to Park Mobile, or is it
it's totally separate. You won't
separate.
Totally separate.
So I could ditch Park Mobile.
So Judd, if you recall, in the RFP process, we looked at this. We challenged the vendor to come up with an option, and this is what we got. And I think what we have is, again, that building a better mousetrap. Like, I think there's two things. One, the QR code will allow you to start your parking session with 2 clicks, right? Once you enter your data, it's always going to be there. You'll just click, done. Right. You can always use Park Mobile for those individuals that use Park Mobile. And, the experience that we're hearing, that multiple apps are preferable in, other locations. So we added, 2 options. You can always stick with Park Mobile, but this is the only option that we were able to come together with, working with all the vendors on, that would actually provide us the ability to offer the free 15-minute parking without any fee. And then, yes, it will turn into a free 50. So the 15-minute parking, you can start your parking session. You can start your parking session in the continued app, which will charge, I believe it's 20 cents a transaction, right? So we were able to reduce the output for customer fees, right? Or if you like Park Mobile, right? Because I've had Park Mobile since Park Mobile started, right? So you're attached
to it.
Well, yeah, I'm used to it, attached to it. I can always, you can use Park Mobile, or you can go back to the pay station and pay at the pay station, right? So it provides that other options. But this is one of the things that we brought this home during the RFP process, understanding that this was a thing that was concerning, and we've worked pretty hard to come up with this. And I think, again, this has been one that we wanted to do. Everything was about, how can we make less clicks? How can we make it easier? How can we make it more affordable for our user, right? And then how can we extend the 15 minutes to do something, right? So I think it's all, it's all good, I think, right?
Yeah, okay, good. And 20 cents the fee is, that's good.
And I am not speaking out of turn, right? Brian, it's 20 cents. Lewis is 20 cents. Anyone?
25.
That was 25, right?
25 cents? 25 cents. All right, I'm sorry. 25,
right.
but it's, yeah, I knew we negotiated, less than the Park Mobile one.
Yeah, good.
So
Better than
is,
35.
and what's the name of this vendor?
This is this is what we got through with Laz. This is what we asked Laz to create in the
Right.
RFP process, that this was an open item for us, that we were not meeting under, we have tried, and Brian and I met with the folks at Park Mobile last year at IMPI. And we had a very long, and Brian's smirking because sometimes it was a very difficult conversation I was having with him, but like, we weren't able to get them to budge on anything in this. So, we went with the next best option was going back to Laz and saying, how do we come up with a solution here, right? And the solution needs to be less than what we're paying right now, and it needs to provide some greater service. And I think what we have is an item, that does both of those things.
So if we're doing this with Laz then, and hypothetically someone does free 15 minutes, and then again, hypothetically, they decide to spend an hour or two, and they're paying into Laz's app system, then Park Mobile is not receiving any of the revenue out of that.
Not unless they use the Park Mobile app, no.
No, so it's money coming out of their pocket.
Could I just jump in for 1 second? Sorry,
Sure.
this is Kara. I just want to clarify one quick thing. It's not going to be any money coming out of Park Mobile's pocket, because the program is already live. So right now, what's out on the streets is Park Mobile and Laz Parking. So all we're doing is changing the sign for you to get to the system, and make it a little bit easier. And we added the feature for us to provide that 15 minutes free. So there isn't too much, there isn't a change in the customer's process. Whichever app they choose or want to use, they can still continue to use. We are just offering that added amenity to the platform by adding that 15 minutes free.
Yeah, we had a text to pay option that was through Laz. It's been in place before. We expanded on that to bit. We couldn't get Park Mobile to expand and build this, so we worked at Laz to expand and build this.
So I'm just being basic Stone Age question here. So you're sitting in your car, you hit the Laz app on your phone.
Or you scan the QR code, I think.
You have to, it's mandatory you scan the QR code.
No, you can, once you have the app, you can do the app, right? Like,
So
Yes,
So
you can do
That's correct. Yep.
You
You
do
can
the
do
app on
You
your
enter the
phone,
zone
Yeah.
number.
you recognize
Okay,
the
good.
area that you're in, and there's a 15-minute free option. And then, if I'm not mistaken, in 14 minutes or so, it would come up, your time is about to expire. Do you want to pay? And then you hit Apple Pay on the side of your phone, and then you're paying.
So what actually happens is yes, you're like 95% there. It's almost like you actually start a session at $0. So like you can click the Apple Pay as if you're doing a transaction, and then that when it comes up and it says, do you want to extend your time? Then you extend your time, and that's when the charge will hit. For what?
Okay, I guess you folks have done it, so it seems pretty clear.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And Tara, the existing QR code that's up on the signs will lead to all this, or already does. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah, you can scan the QR code that's live on the screen right now. That'll take you to Zone 2020 on South Main Street. It won't show you the free parking because we don't have free parking on South Main, but yeah.
Matt, you're quizzing us. That was part of the proposal when we put the signs together. So we just made it live, but yes, you can utilize that QR code. It doesn't have the 15-minute free option though attached to it at the moment.
Okay, that was my question. And Matt, you're right. The QR code does work. And it says Laz Parking today. Wow, good. All right.
Cool. Anything further for 15-minute Fred? Okay. There being no further business in the agenda to come before the meeting, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Just a quick update, for next month's meeting, we will be, which is June 25th, we will do a hybrid meeting with the in-person option at the conference room at Yankee Doodle. Well, it's a community room, but the Yankee Doodle community room. Happy to have you there. If you can't join, there'll be a remote option as well.
Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much, sir. So we'll stand adjourned until the 25th. Following meeting, which will be hybrid, including in person at the Yankee Doodle Garage Community Room. Look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening.